6 people are shot today, 2 of them are dead. Ahead tonight, details of the police shootout and chase from Kemp Road to Nassau Village. On the road again with the March for Justice, why Rodney Monker says the fight against murder can't take a holiday. And a colorful takeoff for lupus awareness. The Bahamas Tonight starts now.
Now in HD. ZNS Network presents The Bahamas Tonight. This segment of the news is brought to you by BTC, powered by Lime.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Keishla Adderley. Thanks so much for joining us. Topping the news tonight, police are investigating a midday double murder, the partial end result of a shooting that started at Kemp Road and ended in Nassau Village. 6 people in all were shot in the shooting rampage. Police say 5 suspects carried out. Charisma Robinson was on the scene as investigators sought to make sense of the episode, which climaxed with a shootout between police and the suspects.
Multiple gunshots were fired on Kemp Road sometime before 1 today, resulting in police blocking off 2 adjacent streets for hours. This pastor was having midday service at the time when near pandemonium unfolded.
They were shooting in the air and people had to run in the church. I feel it's some, not Bahamians alone. This is a mixed blood thing. Because growing up in this country, I never see Bahamian shoot down Bahamian like this.
Now police say 2 of the victims were shot at this greenhouse right behind me. One of the victims died on the scene. The other died on the way to the hospital.
2 men exited a white Dodge Ram truck armed with weapons. They met one of the deceased sitting on the outside and opened fire on him and shot him.
The other victim, believed to be a teenaged boy, reportedly walked out of his front door right into the line of fire. When our news team arrived at the scene, we met his body still lying on the front porch. And according to what police have been able to piece together, he was not their final target.
Those men then got back into this truck and drove into Montgomery Avenue, where they met persons having a holiday get-together. Those men fired upon those persons. 4 persons, we are told, were injured at that location and transported to the Princess Margaret Hospital.
Now, shortly after, the occupants of that SUV led police on a high-speed chase.
Officers intercepted this vehicle on Abundant Life Road. Officers pursued the vehicle. There was an exchange of gunfire by occupants of this vehicle. Police returned fire, chased the vehicle into Nassau Village, where it crashed on Taylor Street. 1 suspect was shot and 4 other persons escaped. I just want to send a warning to persons who may attempt to harbor these persons who are involved in this very serious crime this afternoon, that you could find yourself in problems with the law if you harbor these persons. These men are armed and dangerous. All of them are in possession of weapons. And if you are caught, you will feel the full brunt of the law.
Now, police are appealing to members of the public who may have information on this latest incident that can assist them with their investigations to contact them as soon as possible. Charisma Robinson, ZNS Network News.
Rodney Monker and his March for Justice partners were likely pounding the pavement in that March for Justice today when those fatal shots were fired at Kemp Road. His routine holiday event condemning murder and calling for capital punishment to be enforced is still going strong. Today, Monker told our Andrew Knowles about this leg of the crusade and what he thinks about the worst of the worst debate.
They remain unrelenting in their stand for justice. Families of murdered victims, along with concerned citizens, took to the streets this morning with placards. Although small in numbers, they have a big goal: to convince the government to end the capital punishment hiatus. Here's March organizer Rodney Monker.
Capital punishment is on our books. notwithstanding the fact that the Privy Council, the highest court of appeal for our nation, has put what I would refer to as roadblocks in our way. The government, through legislation, can remove the impediments that prevents capital punishment from being carried out in the Bahamas.
More than 40 people have fallen victim to the violent crime wave in the country so far this year. And although recent Royal Bahamas Police Force statistics reflect that crime is down, it is believed that the fear of crime is still up. But Attorney General Alison Maynard Gibson recently said that her office is championing hanging as the primary method of capital punishment. While she couldn't confirm when that will ever happen, the death penalty, she maintains, will be engaged in cases branded the worst of the worst.
The worst of the worst is a crime that we have never seen and will never see in our lifetime. And so the Privy Council's decision is irrational, and without the necessary amendment to the law, perhaps even a constitutional amendment, we will forever be tied by the Privy Council.
President of the families of all murdered victims, Candy Gibson, expressed her disappointment at the turnout. Nevertheless, participants say they just hope those in authority are listening.
We personally feel like it's supposed to be pastors out here today, MPs, urban renewals, other civic groups, because murder affecting everybody now. And you might have a loved one murdered, but then again, you might know someone who had a loved one murdered. And we just the other day we had a tourist murder. Come on, Bahamas, let's stand. Let's stand. Together we stand, and divided we're going to fall.
It's important for me to be out here today to represent my son because he doesn't have a voice no more. So right now I am his voice. And I would be the voice for him and many others who have been murdered, whose families are probably afraid to come out and support their loved ones.
Where I live in Baines and Grandstown, we have shooting every day. I'm sick and tired of it. You see, the government need to do something.
The next march is scheduled to take place on the Labor Day holiday, which is just a few weeks from now. But these families say they intend to continue to raise their voices until the right thing is done. Andrew Knowles, ZNS Network News.
Well, still to come tonight, we'll tell you what got these students so excited. You're watching The Bahamas Tonight.
This portion of the news is brought to you by Lux Men's Warehouse.